And straight to our big story first. Another massive controversy has hit Delhi's app-based cab and taxi services. A woman commuter in the capital has now claimed that the driver of a taxi for sure cab masturbated while driving her through the streets on a particular journey. The woman commuter took to social media sites to relive her horror. The woman, who was travelling from South Delhi to Faridabad in neighbouring Haryana, claims that the driver played music at full volume despite repeated pleas by her to turn down the volume. The commuter claimed that she found the driver, Devinder Kumar, actually masturbating while she was telling him not to drive rashly. The woman has posted details of her communications with Taxi for Sure regarding her horrifying ordeal. The app-based service had come under fire after an Uber driver had earlier raped a woman commuter in December last year. This is the fresh horror that we're talking about now, where a woman has complained that a taxi driver for Taxi for Sure was actually found masturbating during a journey. We're going to put on your screens in just a moment a snapshot of the Facebook post which lays bare this entire horror. I want to go straight across now to correspondent Kamaljeet Sandhu for more on this story. Kamaljeet, absolutely unbelievable, this news story where a woman has gone onto social media and in detail talked about how this particular driver was indulging in a sexual act inside that car during that journey itself.
Well, absolutely, Shiv. Absolutely horrifying. It's every woman's nightmare. These cabs are one of those cab applications where you can access cabs at any point of time. It's a safe destination, but not anymore. We've seen Uber rape case happening. We've seen this particular Taxi for Sure. And obviously, that woman did come out of the car. She was really praying that she reaches home safely. And once she got out of the car, she complained to Ola Cabs. She also complained to Taxi for Sure. And remember, Taxi for Sure has been acquired by Ola Cabs. The driver was fired by Ola Cabs as well as Taxi for Sure. That complaint was taken cognizance of. Two representatives from the company were sent immediately to the woman's house. They assured her of every action. But is that enough? That man continues to be on the road. And remember, not everyone is really comfortable taking that complaint and lodging an FIR. So all these people, these perverts like these, are obviously on the road. They continue to be on the road, not behind bars. And this is something that could be making people very, very... But
this is shocking stuff for anybody who uses app-based cab services in Delhi. We spoke to the complainant, the young woman who's put out these shocking allegations on social media about a driver masturbating while he was driving her to her destination. Here's what she told India Today.
Ma'am, thank you for talking to Headlines today, and we would protect your identity. The question I want to ask you is it possible for you to narrate the incident for us?
Sure. So, I boarded a Taxi for Sure cab Ola on the night of July 2nd, roughly at around 9:15, 9:30. While everything seemed all right, eventually I was 20-25 minutes away from my house. The driver started acting extremely weird. He seemed anxious, restless, and even throughout the journey till that point, I had to keep, ask him to keep the volume of the music really, really down since I was on call. Now, by this point, I was, starting to get worried because he was also driving really rashly. So I asked him to sort of slow down and drive properly because there was no hurry. Now, when I said this to him, that was the first time I actually directly looked at him and I saw that his hand, one of his hands was like between his legs, and I wasn't sure what was happening, but then I saw his hands move in a very vigorous, violent way. So I sort of, for a second I was shaken aback because it's the last thing you expect as a passenger in a cab. But within few seconds, my doubts were confirmed when he repeated the action. So that's where I knew that he's, up to something extremely disgusting, right in the cab as he's driving. Also, that because I was sitting diagonally opposite to him, I could see the side of his face. He had this noxious smirk, which was honestly extremely scary. And he kept mumbling something. Also, throughout the cab, he was, throughout the drive, he was breathing heavily. And then there was this stench, and unmistakable stench in the car. So that's where I rolled down my window because I knew something, and it wasn't exactly the right time or, for me to confront him because he was driving at a speed of say roughly 60 in the middle of Mathura Road. Also, I really wanted to get home first. I wanted to be safe. So, 5 minutes before, I told him to sort of park the car, he zipped up his pants and I heard him zip up. So that's where everything got confirmed. I got off the car. I was yet to pay him. I was also aware that my father is not home. It was just my mom. So I called her outside the house and I asked her to stand next to me, as I confronted the driver. I asked him, "आप क्या कर रहे हो? आपको शर्म नहीं आती है?" And he said, "क्या किया मैंने? बताओ." So he knew, that there's nothing much that I can say on the spot. He was being extremely shameless. So I just threw the money at him and I walked inside and I called up the Ola services who directed me to Taxi for Sure. Now, when I called the Taxi for Sure, the standard response to me was, "We'll take a strict action against the driver in the next 24 hours.
Are you looking to maybe pursue a legal case against him? You can approach the police. There are certain sections of, that can be applied in this particular case.
Okay, so my point of view was, since an organization has been responsible for me to be in such position, I expected them to go after him as an organization, and I assured them full cooperation at every step required. But during my meeting, when these girls visited me at my office, they actually questioned me, why didn't I file an FIR? Because now that he's not a part of the system, they happily get to wash their hands off it. And that's not going to happen. My only logical approach to this was, if an organization goes after an individual like that with say, criminal intent, versus a single person like me going after him, what would be better? A legal team, a qualified legal team going after it, or someone like me who's hiring a lawyer and running after this person? I mean, it is just about accepting the responsibility and doing the right thing.
Kamaljeet is still with us. Kamal, we understand that the driver, who was caught masturbating in this particular taxi has been, he's been blacklisted and sacked by Taxi for Sure. And I want to tell our viewers that we've been trying to get a word in from Taxi for Sure's CEO and founder as well. They're not taking our calls at this particular point of time, but we're trying to get their view on this as well. But Kamal, that driver has been sacked, but obviously the complainant believes that's not enough.
Well, definitely. The owner somehow also is with the victim in this particular case. But remember, not everybody is very, very courageous enough to actually go ahead and lodge an FIR. They also feel that the company has a part in it. Simply by sacking a driver is simply not enough. More action needs to be taken. And remember, this pervert, if he's not working for one company, he's obviously going to be working for some other company. That man continues to be free, roaming around on Delhi roads. He could perhaps be a taxi driver for some other woman. Now that is a major cause of concern. If a pervert is out, and remember, she's put out the details of a Swift car Desire saying this is the driver, she's really identified him.
Right.
Perhaps the case can go to Delhi police if they suo moto take an action. But at this point of time, the company clearly in the dock, and perhaps with 11,000 cars in 9 cities, is it a possible task to really verify and check? Remember, after the Uber rape case, we've really seen these taxi operators being made more responsible. But definitely, at this point of time, a clear onus and responsibility with the taxi company.
The companies themselves, and a terrifying reminder of what's really possible out there despite a string of these incidents. Kamal, thanks very much for getting us the very latest on that. We're in touch.